Ketchup, catsup, ketchup, catsup. Welcome everybody to Very Important Geeks, and today we are talking about the Keychron Q2. Now the Q2 is Keychron's 65% version of their Q1 that they released not too long ago. And just like the Q1, it gives you the option to have it come with an encoder. Now I reviewed the Q1 and did a little bit of modding with it not too long ago, and I'll link that video up here and I'll put it in the description as well. And when they made the Q1, it came on the heels of a whole bunch of other 75s coming out with encoders, the GMMK Pro, the Paragon 75. They seemed to be kind of popular at the time. And it was a very good keyboard for the money that you would spend on it. It wasn't without its problems. It was a little hollow, a little pingy, required a bit of modding. I do believe that they are listening to their customers, and that is very evident not only with the pre-production models to the production models of the Q1, but from the changes that I've seen from the Q1 to the Q2. What a lot of people were doing with the Q1s was doing a force break mod to sort of eliminate the hollow and pinginess, and they have done exactly that with the Q2. They've implemented like from the factory force break mods with some silicone gaskets around the seal. So that shows that they are really listening to their customers, they're taking that feedback in stride, and they are making their products consistently better and better. Now let's take a look at what comes inside the box. And in the box you always get the Keychron orange thingy and the user manual. A braided straight USB-C cable this time, not coiled like the Q1. Some extra screws, feet, and gaskets. And then underneath the board you'll have the quick start guide. And at the bottom of the box, one of the worst switch pullers in the world. And a wire keycap puller. A small Phillips head screwdriver, handy for dealing with the screw-in stabilizers, and an Allen key for taking apart the case. And of course the star of the show itself, the board. And I got mine in there navy blue with the encoder option. And I got the bare bones version so I could put my own switches in there. Now the Q2 is an exploded 65% layout keyboard, and I chose to get mine with the encoder. It's QMK and VIA compatible, it's gasket mounted with a CNC aluminum body that comes in a host of different colorways. It comes with a steel plate and silicone gaskets. Like I said, the force break mod from the factory, Mac and Windows compatible, it's got screw-in stabs, it's hot swap with south-facing RGBs, and it comes with sound-absorbing foam between the PCB and the plate. And they also added possibly the thinnest bit of case foam I've ever seen. I'm really not exactly sure what this does, but I left it in anyway. And you'll notice that 8 of the gaskets come pre-installed from the factory to maintain a sort of bouncier typing feel, which is really evident when you do start typing on this and applying a little bit of pressure. In the box they include more gaskets if you feel like you want it to be a little bit firmer, and there are slots around the gasket where you can add more. So it definitely looks like they made the bottom case a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier, and there is not a lot of room behind this PCB for anything probably more than a tape mod. And that's probably why this foam that's behind it is as thin as it is. Now I chose to get the bare bones version so I could drop in my own switches, and I chose to go with the drop Holy Panda X's to see how that will work out. So let's see how this sounds out of the box as well as with the stock Holy Panda X's. Now let's do a little bit of modding to this. I will loop and film the Holy Pandas just to see what it sounds like with some well-tuned switches in here. And I'll probably just do the tape mod on the back of the PCB because there's no real room for anything else there. Now, if you understood the ketchup catsup reference in the intro, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more nonsense. Now this keyboard does come with Keychron's own screw-in stabs. Now for whatever reason the spacebar was giving me the most trouble. Their stabs on the other ones, the 2U ones, were just fine out of the box. I really had no issue, but the stab on the spacebar was, I think, a little overzealously lubed. It was sticking a little bit, and once I took it apart, the stab wire was so much rougher than the other ones. It felt like it had not finished machining, actually. It was the roughest stab wire I had ever dealt with on any keyboard, and I don't know why. And it was also pretty out of balance, so I had to go back and rebalance rebalance it myself. And if I was going to relube and rebalance the spacebar, I might as well just do it to all the other ones, so I ended up doing on all the other ones as well. But in the end, I got everything to work and it sounded pretty nice, I thought. And now this is what it sounds like. So as you can see, I think the board sounds pretty solid. It's well built, it's got a lot of thickness in the bottom case, which I think they added the extra foam plates, the silicone force break mods that they've already applied from the factory go a long way in reducing the hollowness and the pinginess from the Q1. It definitely has a different sound signature and feel from the Q1, at least the way that I modded the Q1. It does have a little bit of a higher pitch, a little bit of a higher resonant, and I think that's just because of the force break mods that they've already applied. It's a slightly different form factor, there's not a lot of room in there. I think the worst that I heard was actually more due to the stock Holy Pandas being super pingy than anything else. I don't think it's the board's fault, I think it's the switches. Now I think the encoder is really well done. It's solid, it's clicky, it's got good tactile feedback, the knurling around the edge makes it easy to grip and turn. The only issue I have is with the sort of plastic plate that goes around the knob itself. I took the case apart and I tried to tighten it down as much as I could, but it's still feeling very loose and still a little bit rattly, and you'll probably hear it if you ever take your keyboard and go. For whatever reason, I couldn't get it really tight enough for that to go away. I could probably crank down on the screws back there a little bit more, but it is plastic, so I didn't really want to risk breaking it either. Now, if you want to use this the way that it's mapped out of the box, it should work just fine. Just plug in your USB-C and you're good to go if you don't want to change any of the keys. I did, however, want to change some of the key mappings around. I did want to remap the encoder and a couple of the other function buttons and whatnot, and it says it's QMK and VIA compatible. Honestly, I had a really hard time getting it to work with either QMK or VIA. VIA would not recognize it at all. Even when I downloaded the JSON file from Keychron and tried to reflash it, set it in DFU mode, try and get VIA to recognize it, I was doing it on a Mac. It wouldn't happen for me, so I tried QMK. Again, I could never switch it into DFU mode. I tried to reset it. QMK could never pick it up to be able to reflash it. So they say it works with QMK and VIA out of the box. I couldn't get it to happen. I don't know. It's probably me. I don't know what I did there. Fortunately, I was able to download Vial, not VIA, but Vial, V-I-A-L. And that was super simple. I just opened it up, remapped some things. I didn't have to flash it. I didn't have to set it into DFU mode or anything. I just remapped the buttons and it worked immediately. So if you're running into issues getting it to work with QMK or VIA, try Vial. Now, final thoughts. I think this is a very solid keyboard. It feels good. I like the way it types. I like the combination with the Holy Panda X's. Maybe double check your spacebar. Maybe double check using Vial instead of QMK and VIA if you're going to remap some stuff. I personally like 65%, and I've been looking for one with a knob for a long time that didn't break the bank. So this really fits the bill for me, and I think I'm going to daily drive this for quite a while. Now, as far as value for money, that's a little bit of a difficult question because I got mine bare bones for $159 plus a $30 flat rate shipping anywhere in the world. So that's $189 for a 65% keyboard with a knob. I think that's a bit on the pricey side, especially when you have things like the KBD67 Lite, the Icky Aurora, which are very good 65% keyboards for under $150. So what you're really paying for in that extra money beyond just the shipping is you're paying for the solid aluminum case and you're paying for the encoder. So up to you if you think that that upgrade is worth that price. But I think the Keychron Q2 is a very solid 65% keyboard. I like that they listen to community feedback. I like that they're always innovating and improving. And I think they have a whole bunch of other versions coming out, Q3s, Q4s. Keychron's going crazy. And that probably means a win for all of us. Now I want to take a little bit of time to celebrate a small milestone for the channel, and that is finally getting over 1,000 subscribers. A little over a year ago when I started this channel, I didn't even think that by this time I'd have even 100 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for subscribing, for liking, for commenting these videos. So I wanted to do a little giveaway to show my appreciation. Just drop a comment on this video and I will pick one at random and I will send the lucky winner this RK61 that I already reviewed. I'll put it here and I'll also link it in the description below. And probably if I manage to get to another 1,000 subscribers, we'll do another one of these giveaways. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, support me on Patreon if you can, and until next time, geek out. Ketchup? Ketchup. Ketchup? Ketchup.